What screams highly educated? My uncle has a PhD. Whenever I asked a question he didn't have the answer to, he'd say I don't know. But we can find out. And we'd walk over to his computer and he taught me how to Google and how to evaluate sources. So yeah, knowing what you don't know. Not trying to bullshit an answer. And being willing to be educated about what you don't know. Open-mindedness. They usually enjoy hearing different perspectives or different approaches to solving problems. Years ago I worked with engineers and was struck by how often they wanted to know low-tech or alternative ways of doing something, even if they weren't planning on doing it that way themselves. A few of them would also build engines or vehicles that were inefficient in their spare time just because they wanted to learn about the process and marvel at the older technology. I think education taught them all those practice problems were worth solving. Being able to see and explain nuance. I've spent time around a lot of highly educated people, and one thing I've noticed in the math science-heavy folks is a childlike excitement when talking about something in the field that interests them. They also seem to quickly forget that some people in the room don't have their background and they talk about advanced topics as if everyone is on the same page. Lol. Being able to explain advanced topics in ways that laypeople can understand. Having extreme knowledge about one narrow topic, dumbass about everything else. A doctorate degree doesn't mean they're intelligent, just highly educated. They have many leather-bound books and their apartment smells of rich mahogany. The smartest people I've met never bluntly say you're wrong, here's what's right. Instead, they say I understand why you'd think that because XYZ, and literally outline your position better than you can, including why it makes sense. But then say, but here's what's actually happening, and explain why you're wrong. Not afraid to admit it when they are wrong. I think it's important to distinguish between highly educated and smart. If someone is highly educated but not smart, they'll pretty much tell you by bringing up their intelligence or education unprompted. Thinking you're dumb. Knowing that you don't know everything and never will. I know that I know nothing. Socrates. Using well-thought-out analogies to explain stuff to people simply. Even better if they tailor it to someone you're familiar with. I'll tell you what isn't changing one word from a top post and posting it to farm karma. Refusing to engage in needless arguments. Cardigan and a pipe that they use as a way to exaggerate them being thoughtful about a question. When a person starts publishing as a primary author in top-tier academic journals. Someone who knows what they don't know. After reading this thread, I can now pretend to be highly educated. Always being willing to change their opinion. Advanced degrees. Depends on whether you're talking credentials or actual knowledge and understanding. Open-minded. Thinks critically. Being able to explain complex concepts in an easy-to-understand manner. Damn exact opposite of what's on the hot page. Knowing the difference between your, there, and to. 'Cause most MFs don't have a fucking clue. Not losing your shush tea when someone doesn't agree with you, or corrects you. People who listen more than they talk and don't try to always correct or add opinions even when they can. Massive student loan debt. Acknowledging that they know nothing in the grand scheme of things. Or a PhD course, that shit takes dedication. They never stop asking questions. Professor Frink Huyven Glavin. Actually being able to understand tensor calculus and Einsteinian notation. Being able to say incredibly stupid things in a very articulate manner. Most highly educated people PhD are generally not ever in casual social situations where anyone would like to talk about whatever their area of expertise is. They tend to avoid these situations or shut down in public, unless they meet someone at their level with similar interests. Dr. XYZ. MD. MSc. PhD. In other words, having more letters before after your name than in your name. Edit. Highly educated doesn't always mean highly intelligent. Orgasming cum laude graduates. The quietest person in the room who lets everyone else speak first. Silence. The smartest people I know talk the least. Being able to explain complex concept in a simple, easy way. Depression. Seems a lot here is more about intelligence than education. While there certainly is a lot of overlap. The most highly educated people I worked with, PhDs, at a big software shop were far more distracted with debating theory and getting patents than applying it to deliver brilliant technical solutions. ITT people confusing highly educated for actual intelligence. This parrot that I taught to say highly educated. Being able to say I don't know and listening to other people's perspective. In general, acknowledging that you don't know something is a big sign of intelligence to me. Listens carefully and thinks things through, giving you the best answer, not the first answer that comes to mind. Knows random obscure facts outside their domain. Curiosity. I find that most people who are highly educated are curious and open-minded. Humility. A person's vocabulary. Using the wrong tenses or just flat-out made-up words makes a person appear uneducated. So conversely, a person who talks with some degree of sophistication screams, "Where did they learn to talk like that?" Or so a snotty ex-friend of mine implied. Highly educated individuals often have a wide range of vocabulary and can express their thoughts and ideas eloquently. They may use more complex and nuanced language in their communication. Knowing the difference between there and there. The amount of people who don't know despite being educated is ridiculous. ITT people who don't know the difference between education and intelligence. Some of the stupidest people I have ever met have a degree. Admitting you don't know stuff and being interested to learn it. Not immediately rejecting someone's view, even if they are wrong. Your goal should be to help inform. Neil deGrasse Tyson is very good at this. Massive amounts of debt that make you think they might not be that well educated. Someone able to clearly communicate an idea, information, and have it make sense to anyone. Comfortable with own ignorance. The difference in genius and stupidity is that a genius knows his limits. Shelves full of books in the house. Not making TikTok videos. When they acknowledge they don't know something and try to learn from you. When they say something is arbitrary instead of random. E.g., instead of "that's so random" they say "that's so arbitrary." Basically, it shows you come from some kind of statistics background. Recreational reading. Not screaming.